You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, it is safe to say the Dodgers are in a slump. Welcome to the Dodger Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. And you can listen to us on the Locked On Dodger podcast feed. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA since 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Tonight's show is brought to you by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has more than 122 million parts for your ride or die and helping keep it on the road. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. Dodgers fall to the Nats 6-4. And we talked about this a little bit last night. Jeff and I did here on the postcast. Jeff, of course, from Locked On Dodgers with Vince. And he was like, it's April. And I get that. He's right. It is April. But I do not feel like this Dodger team right now has a ton of fight. And, his point was, these guys are going up there trying to get base hits. I know they're trying, but they don't seem to be trying very hard. Or it's just maybe an attitude where it feels like they are not giving 100%, or they don't care if they strike out or make an out or fly out, or there's just something about the lackadaisical attitude right now that I'm seeing from this team that I don't like. Again, I understand that they're going to lose. They're going to go through streaks of not playing well, and that's what they're doing right now. But there just doesn't seem to be any fight in the dog. It's like the second they go down, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I made the comment that this team to me feels, when they're up one run, I feel like we're good. When they're down one run, I feel like we're good. We're going to make a run. We're going to make it interesting. They're getting base hits. Max Muncy's doing his job. Shohei Ohtani is getting base hits. But Shohei Ohtani, yes, Nando, 1 for 16 with runners in scoring position. And I don't know that you can say that it's unacceptable based on what he's being paid, but I get it, as I'm thinking the same thing. It's not fair. Ultimately, this is my blanket statement on salaries. It is not fair to say that because they're getting paid X amount of dollars, they should get a base hit every single time or be better with runners in scoring position or whatever, right? But I get it. You can't help it. That's what we do, right? I almost wish at a certain point they stopped telling us what they made. It would make life easier. But when you know what they're getting paid, you expect higher production. The expectations are higher. So yes, I feel like this team right now shouldn't lose. I was talking to a buddy of mine today that I was playing golf with, huge Dodger fan, watches every game, almost every night when he's available. He understands, like I do, that they're not going to win every game, but the expectations that are hanging over this team's head are so high that we're like, they shouldn't lose. And when they do lose, it should be every now and then, right? They're 11-8 now. And look, I'm not nothing against the Nats. They're fine. Young team, off to a bit of a slow start. Felt like the Dodgers, coming off that series against the Padres over the weekend, would want to come out and make a statement today, get back on track, go on a little bit of a run. They did score in the first inning. I'll give them credit for that. But the big story of the day was Tyler Glasnow just didn't have it. And I don't know how you go from his last outing, which was a career outing, 14 Ks and 88 pitches. Something that is, they're pulling out stats. First time ever this, first time ever that. They said that's never been done since they were tracking pitches in 1980 something. like a career outing for him. It's almost like a no-hitter in a sense. And then to come out today and just be all over the place. I mean, there were times when the slider looked good, but just missing spots and throwing pitches right down Main Street in key situations. 3-2. Here you go. Just serving it up on a silver platter. It was not good at all. 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs, 5 Ks, and 2 walks. I guess they cleared up that issue. So we could feel good about the fact that the Dodgers didn't walk 14 guys or anywhere near that many tonight. What was the number? 2, both from Glasnow. So at least they took care of that. But 94 pitches for Glasnow, and it was just not good. I mean, Abrams beat him up all by himself. Leadoff double, scoring on a wild pitch. What is that in the first inning? And then Abrams with a home run. Garcia, that pitch to Garcia was, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't quite down Main Street, but it was too close to the strike zone with 2 guys on and 2 outs. And it didn't seem like, I mean, it was up in the zone. Bury that pitch. And by all accounts, the broadcast team, who was not Joe and Oral tonight, it was that new guy, Mike, and then what's her name? I'm forgetting her name right now. But by all accounts, they thought, as I did, that pitch was supposed to be buried down and in, and it was not. So it didn't seem like it was going to carry out of there, but it did. It was just bad pitch after bad pitch. Oh, so frustrating game all in all. Max Muncy, I guess we can feel good about him. He had a nice night at the plate. We'll talk about that coming up after the break. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers Postcast. The place to hang out when every game is done is the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. You can also listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. I come on after the game and break it down for you. Jeff and Vince will have the daily podcast for you as usual tomorrow morning on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, tonight's show, as I said, brought to you by eBay Motors. They have everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. You can get some superchargers. Now, that's not one of those things you probably need some help putting in, but maybe not. Roof racks, that's a DIY project that I've done myself. Exhaust kits, you got to have a welder for that one, in case you didn't know. LED headlights, pretty simple. Brake kits, and so much more. It's all available for you on eBay Motors with over 122 million parts. Keeps your number one ride or die alive, and you'll always find exactly what you're looking for with the eBay Guaranteed Fit. You know the part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you get your money back. And the other great thing about eBay Motors, saves you a ton of money. I know when I've purchased brakes from them, about a quarter of what it would cost if you went to the auto parts store. eBay Motors will keep you burning rubber, not cash, with all the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to turn your number one ride or die into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay's Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Tonight's show also brought to you by Monopoly Go. We've all been there, either as a player or a fan. It's halftime or late in the game and the scoreboard is not looking good. You're not feeling the way you should, not sure you or your team can pull out that win. So it's time now to dig deep, lift your head up, and say to yourself, time to get back in the game, pull yourself up, bank heists, and take as much of your friends' money as you possibly can. That's the way it goes with Monopoly Go. Let's go compete with your friends to get the most riches and the biggest empire. It's the Monopoly you love, but on your phone anytime, with tons of twists, including leaderboards to compare your progress to your buddies. There's so much to do. Play on countless dynamic Monopoly boards. Make your friends bankrupt by smashing their landmarks with a wrecking ball. Charge other players rent for your iconic properties. You can even work with your friends to crack open a community chest and into tournaments to get extra rewards and climb the leaderboard. So get back out there, put on your game face and download Monopoly Go now for free on the App Store or Google Play. All right. Dodgers blow another lead. It wasn't a big lead. 2-1, losing to the Nats 6-4. They are now 11-8. They dropped back-to-back games, 1-3 on this homestand. As I said, Will Smith had a good night, as did Max Muncy. A leadoff double in the second on a curveball. It was a nice hit. He's been on base 8 consecutive games. And then Chris Taylor, hey, an RBI sac fly single. I mean, an RBI sac fly. So still no base hits for him, but at least he got an RBI tonight. His batting average down to 30. It's getting down so low that when he goes over, it doesn't drop that much. 0 for 1 tonight, but he did have the RBI. So at least he did not strike out. So kudos to him for that, and put bat to ball and got the run scored. But it didn't last for long, because in the bottom of the third, or the top of the third rather, Abrams with that solo home run, and then Gallo with an RBI double, 3-2 Nats. Fourth inning, Will Smith a leadoff hit, and not much else going on there. Left him stranded. So finally got Abrams out in the fifth, the 2-out walk to Gallo, and then Garcia with the 3-run home run on a 3-2 pitch, a slider that just didn't do much of anything. Just missing spots all night, Tyler Glasnow. And it's just surprising to see. I feel like this Dodger team needs somebody to go out and have a dominant starting performance. I mean, Glasnow had it last time out, and usually when that kind of thing happens, that the next guy wants to try to outdo the guy that he's following. And, you know, it kind of turns into this, not to name drop, but I talked to Don Sutton one time long after his career was over, and I asked him about that when he was with I think it was the Dodgers, or maybe later in his career when he was with the Braves, that he said on that staff that he pitched on, there were so many good starters that they were all trying to outdo the guy that they were coming after. So it became this snowball effect where each pitcher wanted to pitch better than the guy that they follow, or the guy that followed them. So it feels like the Dodgers kind of need one of those guys to come out and dominate, like Glasnow did last time out. And then the next guy could come out and also have a good performance. But we had a bad performance yesterday from the Big Maple, Paxton, and then here's another bad performance. So somebody's got to come out and dominate to start a game, and then hopefully it can get the momentum rolling for the starting pitching. Today the bullpen was good. It's I guess another frustrating thing that they're not going through the same problem other than hitting with runners in scoring position. That's a problem. They did get a base hit tonight with a runner in scoring position, but at some point in the 6th inning, they were 6 for 37 rather, with runners in scoring position. And Freeman was at the plate and he struck out. So it's, I know that you can rationalize runners in scoring position by saying, well, they get a lot of guys on base, but I'm sorry, that the number is so absurdly not in their favor that they need to be a little bit more aggressive with runners in scoring position. I don't feel like it's striking out. It's just not being productive at the plate. And I know it's early in the season, but it still feels like there's just not enough gusto. There's not enough want to, right? But as I said, there's not one specific problem going on with this team. Every night it's something else. Like tonight, the bullpen was pretty good. Yeah, the rookies were very good, Craig. Ramirez, 2 innings, 0s and a K. And then Vanasco also pitched 2 innings, put up a bunch of 0s. He was throwing it hard in the mid to high 90s. So 2 really solid performances from the bullpen after Glasnow just didn't have his best stuff tonight. So Ramirez, 16 pitches, 13 strikes, and Vanasco 20 pitches, 14 strikes. So both of those guys with 0 ERAs, and I think Vanasco was making his major league debut. And speaking of major league debuts, that's a whole nother thing. That Parker guy on the other team Mitchell Parker was making his major league debut at Dodger Stadium. I know it's not a weekend or a big game or anything, but the fact is that he looked so dominant. They just really struggled against him. He only gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, 4 Ks. He seemed to have the Dodgers on their heels all night long. So kudos to that guy. And that happens quite frequently when you don't know a guy's stuff, right? And it does make a little bit of sense that they're not familiar with him. They don't know what he throws. They don't have a scouting report that's very effective or very detailed. So ultimately, yeah, I'm with you, Wheelie. I don't know what was up with that ad read. It was a tough one. The Monopoly Go thing has got me a little baffled. So I apologize for that. But yeah, tonight it was good for the bullpen, tough for the starting team, the starting pitchers. But Parker was great. And I think the Dodgers had a tough time there trying to figure out what his stuff was. He just could not, they could not get to him. He seemed to have all the pitches figured out. When he needed to get somebody out, he was able to do that. And I just kind of look at it and go, really, shouldn't you be better against a guy you've never seen before? I know it can go either way, but that's a rookie, making his major league debut, and the Dodgers need a win, and they get nothing, right? They just couldn't get to him at all. And that's super frustrating. So all in all, across the board, I feel like I'm just kind of looking for some answers here. Mookie Betts didn't have a great night, and I guess he can't have a great night. He had 1 hit, but 1 for 5. Shohei Ohtani with the hit. He continues to produce. He's getting on base, and they're knocking him in. Freddie Freeman 1 for 4. They were kind of scratching their way through this game, but nobody ever seemed to be clutch enough to get something going, to get a rally going. They just kind of clawed their way, putting up the picket fence, as they like to call it. 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the 6th, and then 1 in the 8th. So they never really got a rally going. I don't think you would have gotten out of your seat if you were at this game. It was just kind of just ho hum, whatever, we'll get them tomorrow night is what it felt like. And that to me is just frustrating. I just feel like this team right now is in a funk, and it's not just one guy. It's a lot of guys. And I don't think it's hard to say really that they're slumping at the plate. Mookie Betts still batting 347. Ohtani's batting 338. Freddie Freeman batting 296. But all of those guys had a strikeout. Mookie Betts struck out twice. The top 5 in the lineup with a strikeout. Will Smith struck out, but he had a hit, right? So 2 RBI. So he knocked in some runs. Teoscar Hernandez, a couple of hits, but a strikeout. It felt to me like everyone's kind of doing their job. So it's hard to really criticize that they're not getting hits. But they are just not getting clutch hits, I guess you would say. Oh, yeah. All right. I need to go back to the Monopoly Go read, because I'm getting a lot of comments on the Monopoly Go, and they are a sponsor, and I feel like I should give them a little bit more credit. Yes. To be clear, I read a script most of the time. So sometimes the writing is a little bit, the product is Monopoly Go. Okay. And that's a game. You play it on your phone, right? So there's a lot of mumbo jumbo in that script that's trying to attract you to Monopoly Go, but it's basically a video game you play on your phone. So if you're a Monopoly fan and you want to play the game on your phone, you can download it at the App Store or the Google Play Store, right? All the other mumbo jumbo is just trying to attract you to the game. I did a horrible job of reading the script. A lot of times they want you to personalize these scripts, and I can do that. Like with the eBay Motors, I've used eBay Motors. A lot of these products I use, but I've never played Monopoly Go. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't even really like the board game. I played it a few times when I was a kid, but I'm just not a big fan. But that doesn't mean a lot of people don't. If you like Monopoly, you could just get the game on your phone, and then you can put a team together. You can play against other people on your phone, there's a lot of games you play on your phone against other people. Now Monopoly is one of them. Okay. So that will hopefully clear up what the product is, BC. It is Monopoly Go. It's a video game that you play on your phone, and you can download it in the App Store or Google Play. All right, there. Hopefully that will clear up what the product was. And again, I apologize. The read was absolutely terrible, but it's a new one for me. I'm still trying to get comfortable with it. We do have to take another break here and get to another read, something I am a little bit more familiar with. This is the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Thank you for joining me here. We come on right after the game and do our best to break it down. This one was a bit of a head scratcher. Just not a lot of fighting the dog tonight for the Dodgers as they lose 6-4 to the Nats and have now won just one game of this 9-game homestand. Again, they will take on the Nats again tomorrow, and then Wednesday, a matinee to wrap up the series. All right, tonight's show is also brought to you by Yahoo Finance. This is one I am familiar with when it comes to your financial future. You think you've done all that you need, you've saved, you've researched, you've invested all that you can, and now that you need to take these investments to the next level by using what every financer or financial great uses, Yahoo Finance. One of the great things about Yahoo Finance, you can put all of your investments into one platform. So it's all right there in front of you to know how much you got coming in, how much money you're making, how much you're losing, et cetera, et cetera. So it's the 401k is there. You can even hook it up to your bank accounts so you know how much you have in your checking and your savings and in your stock purchases, et cetera. So it's very, very convenient. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or looking for extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need in one place. And when you're going out to buy new stocks or maybe sell some, they give you the information there to say, hey, this is a good time to sell, or this is not a good time to sell. And this would be a good time to hold this one and go buy something over here in this area. So all that data is super, super helpful and important when it comes to buying and selling stocks. The number one finance destination, producing a holistic look at the financial news cycle, including breaking news, original editorial perspectives, analyst ratings, independent researches, customizable charts, and so much more. Securely link your brokerage accounts to a unified view of your wealth, including your 401k and other investments. For a comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com, the number one financial destination, yahoofinance.com. That's yahoofinance.com. All right, Dodgers fall to the Nats in game one of this series, 6-4 the final. Tyler Glasnow did not have his good stuff, according to Jeff, or maybe it's Vince. Dave Roberts said that Tyler Glasnow was under the weather today. They said they saw him coughing on the mound. So thanks for that, Jeff. Interesting. I didn't catch that. He seemed fine last night when they were talking to him during the game about various and sundry things, the live look in there from the ESPN guys. So that's interesting. I don't always understand why they'll run somebody out there if they're not 100%, right? We see this not frequently, but occasionally where somebody goes out, pitches poorly, and before you know it, they're on the IL. So we're starting to think, all right, was he injured when he was pitching the last time out, or Bobby Miller? I mean, this question is hanging over Bobby Miller's head right now for me. I don't know if he is injured. I think he just had a poor performance and they threw him on the IL. That's what some of my other Dodger friends were thinking today when we were playing golf, but maybe he is injured. Who knows? I mean, it's definitely a tactic that they are that they've used in baseball for a long time. If somebody has a bad outing, they need to get somebody else into the lineup or onto the roster, they'll throw somebody on the IL. Maybe Bobby Miller is hurt. I don't know. If Tyler Glasnow wasn't 100% today, I mean, is it a good idea to go start? Is it better to say, hey, I'm just not feeling it, and have somebody else start? I know that there are some bullpen games right around the corner, and the Dodger pitching staff is not 100% right now. So, yeah, I know. Got to take the ball when you're ready. Having a bullpen game tomorrow. I know. We talked about it yesterday, Jeff. I agree. Sometimes you got to be a gamer, right? You got to go out there and do the best you can. So we sit here and we make excuses. Well, Tyler Glasnow wasn't 100% and didn't look good. So you kind of chalk it up to that's part of the game, that's life, and you move on and hope for a better performance tomorrow, right? And say, look, it can't be much worse than tonight. But Tyler Glasnow gave up a grand total of 6 runs in all of his other outings, and tonight he did the exact same thing. So 6 runs in all of his first outings, 6 runs tonight. So I come in expecting Tyler Glasnow to be some form of Tyler Glasnow, and he wasn't. So I guess that's life. And we move on to the next one, which is the Dodgers and Nats tomorrow, a bullpen day, as we just discussed, and we'll be facing Patrick Corbin. So I feel like we need some more hits. We need some more runs, and the Dodgers have to come out and build a big lead and hold that lead into like the 5th or the 6th inning, because it feels like more often than not, the bullpen can take control and hold a fairly large lead, right? But when it's a 1 or 2 run lead of late, it just hasn't been enough for them. So we need a big lead. We need some more runs scored with runners in scoring position. I'd like to have a rally or 2. That would feel good. So, all of these hits are great. It's very, very positive to see a Dodgers team putting, the ball into play and getting base hits, but they're just not timely hits. And I think that's probably the most frustrating part. You got runners in scoring position and it turns into a strikeout and, runners left on base and no runs scored and a loss. So there's definitely opportunity there. They just need to take better advantage of that opportunity. And once again, the bottom of the lineup, they had that one game where they had, 7 or 8 hits and they all just got hot at the bottom of the lineup. But again, tonight, just nothing. James Outman did get a hit, but then struck out looking with runners in scoring position. Kike was 0 for. Chris Taylor had the RBI, but was 0 for. Gavin Lux was 0 for. Miguel Rojas 0 for. And Trammell is still looking to get a base hit of any kind. His batting average 0. So I haven't seen him really swing the bat effectively and look good. I don't know much about him, but what I've seen so far is very unimpressive and lackluster. So I feel like they have some work to do at the bottom of the lineup. These guys got to get hot. It's not going to take much. Just need them to get on base. So, the top of the lineup, Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, and Smith can knock them in, but makes it tough when these guys are getting base hits and the guys at the bottom of the lineup are not on base. So just we need a little bit more consistency out of this lineup across the board. A hit here and there is nice. It's better than not getting hits, but it still feels like they're slumping just across the board. I think the only 2 guys really right now that aren't slumping, Ohtani, he continues to just get on base and gets hits. Will Smith, and it's hard to say that Teoscar. So those 3 guys to me, and Muncy. So there's 4 guys that are really doing it for the Dodgers right now. And I guess you can't overlook Mookie Betts. So it's hard to say. See, I step in a hole every time. I'm like, they feel like they're slumping and they're not being, productive at the plate. But you can't. There's no way you can say Mookie Betts is slumping. Ohtani is definitely hitting the ball. Freddie Freeman's definitely in a funk of some sort. Will Smith has been great, red hot, and just such a good hitter. So compact, hitting the ball like a professional hitter, right? That's how you hit the ball right there. It makes it look so simple. Even when he strikes out, he's still looking good. Like Ohtani, on the other hand, sometimes when he strikes out, he just looks awful, but it doesn't happen that much. And for the most part, he's definitely putting the ball in play and getting on base, scoring runs and knocking runs in. So nothing to complain about with Shohei Ohtani, unless you start comparing it to the $700 million, and that's just not fair to do. Teoscar is batting 288, 2 hits tonight. So he's definitely still hitting the ball. They're just not being clutch. I need some more clutch from this team and some wins. Back-to-back losses for this team seems like something we should see every once a month, maybe. Hopefully this is the once a month. Dodgers are 11-7. They're not slumping. I'm a Giants fan. I know what slumping looks like. All right, Johnny. It feels like things should be better for them right now. When I saw the Yankees were like 16-4 or something, I'm like, Dodgers should have a better record right now. They should be playing better. They should be winning more games. I feel like winning series is the goal. Like 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4. That's what they need more of right now. They don't need to win every game, but this is not what we're looking for to start off the season. It's not terrible, but it's also nothing to feel really, really good about. So I'm just going to hope for better tomorrow, right? As they say, we're going to turn the page. Dodgers lose this one 6-4. They are back at it tomorrow against the Nats at the Ravine, a bullpen game. So that should always be fun. They'll get going a little after 7 as per usual. They'll wrap up the series on Wednesday with a matinee. And again, happy Jackie Robinson Day. It was so cool seeing everybody wearing the blue 42s on their back. I thought that was awesome. Thank you for joining me here, and thanks for all the comments. Thanks for watching us on the Locked On Dodgers Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Thanks for listening on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Again, check out the Dodgers podcast with Jeff and Vince. That'll be on for you a little bit later tonight or very early tomorrow morning. I will be back to break down tomorrow's game against the Nats when it is done. Have a good night. We will talk to you then.